What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 11 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I am Tim Gettys. I'm here with the coolest dudes in video games, Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller.
Hello.
We're going to talk about a lot of cool
Your
stuff.
Your NPR
today.
voice is on point today.
Oh, it's on point. It's because I hear myself, and now I'm sounding all sexy and shit. Yeah. And
headphones, that's the thing. Whenever people put me on headphones, it usually teaches me that. Well, I finally understand why people are like, oh, he's so loud. It hurts my ears.
Because it hurts your ears.
Yeah, it hurts your ears.
That's what happens.
And then I immediately take the headphones off, and I'm like, unfiltered.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the rigmarole of this is you can get this show Monday through Friday over on YouTube, broken out topic by topic at youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, or you can get it early at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, or you can get it on iTunes a week later, and it'll be great. Just search for Kind of Funny Gamescast.
Yeah.
Or Kind of Funny Games.
Right.
Or just Kind of Funny.
Cool.
Any of that stuff, you find it. Is there anything else you want to add, Greg?
No.
Oh, all right. You sound like you did.
I'm just there. I'm giving you support.
Just there, supporting me, doing stuff.
Yep.
Supporting me, like all the people out there supporting us on Patreon.
Right.
.com/kindoffunnygames.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Colin.
Yes.
You've been pretty happy lately. I thought you would. You've been happy.
About what?
I don't know, just in general.
Oh, thank you.
Tim knows the dour, soured Colin Moriarty.
I'm in good spirits.
Fun, Colin.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we just spent the last 2 weeks back-to-backing GDC.
Oh yeah, it was thrilling.
And PAX East.
Yeah, it was. I'm in a good place this year. Feeling good. People still think I look upset all the time, but that's just how I look.
I was gonna say, like, you're like you for a long time. People knew you like a -60 on the happiness index. Now you're up to like -20.
Right.
So
I'm pretty good. Yeah. Well, people were like, "Oh, Colin looks like during the Harley kind of funny show." I guess that was the Game of Greg show. We did that live. People were like, "Colin looks bored or unhappy." I'm like, "I'm just listening. I'm just sitting here listening to people."
There was a lot going on.
Colin is an intent listener.
Yeah, like when people are talking, I listen. I'm not like Nick Scarpino, where like I just say whatever I want. Actually, it was funny when I was at PAX East. I was talking to Tim. And then Nick just starts talking to Tim like in the middle of a sentence, and Tim's like, classic Nick Scarpino move.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yesterday we recorded the Game Over Greggy show, and I told a whole story for the first time. Because Nick wasn't there. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, my favorite is when Nick's talking to you, or he's with you, he interrupts you, then something comes up again in conversation. It was what you were saying when he cut you off. And he's like, when did that happen?
Yeah.
Like, we were just talking about it before you cut me off.
Between that and Nick just getting up in the middle of the show and leaving sometimes. For like in the middle of a sentence.
He's like a 90-year-old man. He's got that process. He's got to go to
really. He has an interesting way of going about his business, but that's teach his own. That's his prerogative.
Business is business.
I see where you're going with this. You're leading in the PAX GDC thing.
Yes.
So let me detour for a second.
Put a pin in it, as you would say.
You're talking about the support we got. PAX, we had an amazing panel.
Yes.
Amazing best friends, of course, came out. We have something for the first time ever to do in the Kind of Funny Gamescast. We have a supporter who went and did the $3,000 tier shout out for a month.
My God.
So he gets a month of shout outs here on this show. He's a supporter just like you. His name's Peach Goblin Poop.
Oh, Peach Goblin Poop.
Everyone knows Peach Goblin.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Peach Goblin Poop.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
You might remember him. He's submitted songs before. I think we played him on Beyond, right? That's how we became aware of him outside of the fact that he's totally helpful on Twitch and helps out Alfredo all the time. However, he's got a new album out. A new dynamite rap album. I like it a lot. He wrote a letter to accompany his shout out. So everyone needs to go to, and I made a bit.ly for it because he gave me a gigantic link that didn't make any sense.
Angel Fire.
So it's bit.ly/Peach Goblin. Spelled like it sounds, Peach Goblin.
PEACHGOBLIN.
Right, and it's on the screen if you're watching the video one. Make a note of that for Kevin.
Cool.
Anyways, here comes Peach Goblin Poop's letter. The project is called Simple Mind EP. It's a 7-track EP with a lot of heartfelt songs on it. It's a very serious project, but I'm hoping to reach out to kids who feel lonely all the time, which is a great message.
Like you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I'm not lonely all the time, but I was, I had my loneliness, my bouts back in the day. Now, if you can, I really want to push the kids to download it. That is what will help the most. Even just by saying, quote, hey, this EP is really cool. This kid worked really hard on it, and you should download it and check it out. It's sponsored by Daft Piff, or Dat Piff.
Dat Piff?
Yeah.
The mixtape website?
Yeah, exactly. That's the website you're going to here.
Yes.
So you don't need to make an account to download it, he says. Telling kids that will also help kids download it. So there you go, kids. You don't need to make an account. You go there, you
just
download
go,
it for
and
free.
there'll be a pop-up window that comes up, and it's going to be like, do you want to be a premium member? And you're like, no, I don't want that. And then you click the thing, you wait the 30 seconds, and you'll get the RAR file.
AR, yeah, the RAR.
RAR. I don't think I've said
Guar.
that.
That's a spin-off of Guar
Yeah,
and
Guar,
before OAR, I believe.
OAR after Guar.
Yeah. Then you just, unzip that shit and enjoy.
Right.
Load it up on your iPod.
Now here's what Tim, you're the host of the show, of course. When I was kicking around with Peach Goblin, of course, bit.ly/Peach Goblin, I was talking about maybe, and you're the YouTube guy, so stick with me, maybe we could play a little sample of the song. Now, he says he's not going to copyright strike us. Seems you don't agree? You don't think it's
if it's on
Vampire Strike?
If it's on DatPiff, I wouldn't mess with it. Okay, I don't know what weird shit they have.
So here's what you need to know. Peach Goblin Poop, a good friend of the show, a supporter like you, did the month of shoutouts. The website to go to is the bit.ly/Peach Goblin. It's on the screen right now if you're watching the video. The music is Greg Miller approved. I do actually like this music. I liked it before he ever gave us money. So I want to point that out.
It's important to point out.
It is.
Is his rap name Peach Goblin Poop?
Yes.
With the poop?
Yeah, the poop is on there. When you go there, it's going to pop up. It's going to say about Peach Goblin Poop. And then there's a comment. PGP. There's a comment beneath it that says, "This is awesome. Can I download this and put it back up somewhere?" And he said no. And then somebody put underneath it, "Yeah." That was a weird conversation in the comments. The comments are always weird. So there you go. A best friend just like you watching out there supporting us.
He is a good dude. He really is.
Have you met him?
I met him once, and it was a good time.
He's a Bay Area local.
Yes, he is. Yes.
Right,
he's a good guy.
Sorry, Peach Goblin Poop.
So yeah,
Bitly.
Thank you so much for the support. Now going back, after we're taking the pin out. Thank you guys so much for your support at PAX East 2015. We had a lot of fun.
Right.
We did our panel. We did meet and greet. We did all of this fun stuff. Topic number 1 this week is PAX East 2015. What were the best games we played? What was our best experiences? All that stuff.
I'm very excited you brought this up.
Oh, man. Gray has notes.
Oh, no. My notes.
He lost his notes.
It was dramatic.
Right. You tried hard, but it backfired. It was very dramatic.
It was
dramatic. I wouldn't deny the drama of it.
Thank you. Yeah, I brought all sorts of stuff here. This is the PAX East is when you get to go see all the indies. And on top of the PAX East, we were at GDC, saw a bunch of indies there. I went to the awards here. I went to the Independent Games Festival Awards and the Game Developer Choice Awards. And on the back, they had this little thing to keep track of it. So I took comprehensive notes, as you can see, for things we need to do. It
looks like just arrows and X's. It doesn't really look very
comprehensive notes, as you can see. Then I went and got business cards for things I talk about. So I have plenty to talk about. What would you like to hear about, Colin?
Whatever you want.
Okay, I'll start with this one. I didn't play this game, but I didn't see you after the fact. But this is the one I was telling you about. Making History: The Great War.
So World War I.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a World War I game. It's from Muzzy Lane. I have no idea. Here, I'll read it to you, all right? The latest in our award-winning strategy game series, TGW, and puts you, that's literally what it says. And puts you in the role of national leader during the era of the First World War. Change the course of history and lead your nation throughout this turbulent time. You control production, make diplomatic deals and alliances, wage war, and try to keep your empire from falling prey to domestic unrest, instability, and revolution. The game's currently available at a discounted price on our website and on Steam Early Access. The official release is imminent.
What is it, though?
Strategy World War I game.
Yeah,
Strategy World War I.
So this is all we have is this box art.
Right. The graphics didn't look that hot. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't care.
But I wanted to give you a shout out about it because you're always saying there's not enough, Civil War, World War I.
But this one, I don't talk much about World War I. But this one below it sounds even more interesting to me, Greg. Government in Action. It's called. For the first time, you can now directly buy the game that Forbes magazine called House of Cards: The Game. Play as a member of Congress and learn exactly how difficult it is to grow your political capital by passing and sponsoring bills, asking lobbyists for money, and paying to get media attention, all while trying to take care of the people in your home district so you get reelected.
That does sound really good, actually.
This sounds very Colin-esque.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
He's got, what is it, Muzzy Lane making games just for you, Colin.
Yep. Colin,
a world leader in digital game-based learning.
For Colin Moriarty.
All right, so I got other stuff here. I got plenty of other stuff. Okay. The first one I got in my hand is Y2K. Did you see this one?
No.
Postmodern RPG.
Postmodern RPG. Okay.
Yeah, it's goofy. It's in America. I want to say it's in Portland, but I'll forget that part. Guy definitely looks like a hipster, beard, flannel. You already know where I'm going with this.
The dream of the 90s is alive.
In Portland. He's in a record store right there, so you get it. Colin, what this is the Japanese RPG gameplay put into an English game where this man is living with his mom, his life's not so hot.
An American game.
Exactly. Meets this girl, then he's got to go with this thing. There's parts of there's some platforming in there. There's some Zelda bomb stuff they were showing off, doing all this different stuff.
So I'm looking at this here. So a Killer 7 Earthbound hipster hybrid heaven, according to Destructoid. Take on RPG battles with vinyl records, normcore threads, and weaponized panda plushies. Brave parallel dimensions, existential humor, and meandering exposition.
Right.
Panda plushies.
What's most exciting to me about this is that it's coming to Vita.
Yep. PlayStation 4 and Vita and Wii U. And
Y2K, a postmodern RPG. Okay, so that's the subtitle. When you called it a postmodern RPG, I'm like, what are you talking about? How is it a postmodern RPG? But it's actually calling itself that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Okay. Looked interesting. graphics are rough, but it did the whole Persona thing where like, the drawing pops up and then the text is there, and I'm like, oh man, like a JRPG made by Americans set in America. That's pretty cool. I can get down with that because I can relate to that.
Yeah.
There's a cat in there. A cat is at the core of this whole story.
Well,
I don't want to spoil
where did the panda plushies come?
I did not see the panda plushies in my playthrough. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. So I got that one for you.
What's this Mini Metro? I'm excited about that. I saw that a little bit.
Now, Mini Metro is one I got to watch. I didn't get to play, but I went to the website already. You can play it there, and I think you might be able to download it already to your iPad.
Is the developer called Dinosaur Polo Club? Because that's a pretty awesome...
It is. They are.
That's a pretty great name.
Dinosaur Polo Club.
So Mini Metro is a game where basically if you are in a metropolitan area, you probably know how your BART system looks, your subway system, your metro system if you're over in France. You see the different colored lines, right? There are trains moving on these lines while you watch, and it looks, just like a map would look or whatever, the subway system. And you have to give them the best routes to drop off their passengers. Their passengers around there represented by basic shapes, a triangle, a circle, a square. You can see how many like different ones. You can tell like, okay, I have a lot of squares on this train, but it's going way away, but I got to try to get it to the square drop-off point faster, get these people the triangle route faster. And obviously as you play, it gets progressively more hard, and you have to keep trying to get these lines.
It's just a management game.
Exactly. Seemed like a fun one. I'm not one big on the mobile games.
It seems like it would work on Vita.
Exactly. That was one. You're right there with me. Yeah, that's Geo. You better be listening. That's 100% sure. But I was thinking maybe on my iPad it'd be something to play before bed or whatever. Fool around. Now here's an interesting one. I want to bring this one up. All right. Did you get to play this one? No. Hectocube.
I played like 2 games.
Oh, Hectocube.
Hectocube. Everybody go to hectocube.com. HECTICUBE.com. This one made by Graham Reed. Graham Reed, of course, the gentleman who made the Colin and Greg live intro. He did the very special Podcast Beyond New York Comic Con thing. He's known for doing these different graphics, which is great or whatever, right? But this one is basically, it looks like Pong, right, with a whole bunch of crap happening on the screen. This is definitely one that I sent to Sony. I was like, this needs to be on the Vita because it's local. You're playing with a phone or a tablet or whatever, person on each side. Your paddle is bouncing back and forth, right? But what you're trying to do is slam basically the puck into the other person's paddle to make the paddle smaller to kill it.
Yeah.
The way you do this is basically, if I'm to use Colin's phone, I would pull back here on the screen on my side, and it would make another little projectile that would fly out and hit the puck I'm trying to get over there. If I pull back and hold, the projectile gets really big, and I can throw it out that way. But obviously, I sacrifice the fact that Colin could be shooting stuff at me as well. Again, this is a game.
It sounds like Crossfire.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Like the game we used to
in the
Right, and then your paddle on the end is just there. You were trying to hit the other person's paddle to kill it or whatever. Interesting. Yeah. I liked it. It was fun.
Nice.
Again, another game that I think would work really well on Vita. Now here's where we get into some of the crazy stuff. You ready?
Crazy.
We'll start with this one.
Well, you're done with this. We're gonna put this over here, and we're gonna put this over here.
Thank you. This is Toto Temple Deluxe. You might have seen us tweeting about this. Yeah, exactly. That's how it came to light for us that there was this game happening. It's a game that plays all the things Kind of Funny loves. 4-player, local multiplayer, and a goat.
And a goat. That's all we need, really.
You get the goat, you run around with the goat on top of your head, and you try to be the guy who has the goat the longest before time expires, right?
We've all been there.
Of course, you're building it up. Now, the added benefit is that they took us and put us in the game. They just surprised us with this. And there's a whole bunch of other video games. Nathan from Cappy's in there, Tim Schafer's in there, a whole bunch of different video game people are in this. They replace the goat. So if you want, when you get this game, you can replace the goat with Tim Gettys and then carry Tim Gettys around your head and do it.
I don't know how I feel about the me look in the game. Simply because my eyes aren't blue. And that's always my...
Have you emailed
my
them
biggest...
yet?
I have not. I should.
Why have you not emailed them?
Like, hey, can you change that black dot to a blue dot?
There you go. That's all it is. It takes super simple.
But the dots could represent... Does it represent the whole eye color? Or maybe it's the way they represent
like
the
Simpsons
pupil?
eyes, yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather them just be blue.
I mean, it's, they're making a cartoon version of you. You probably shouldn't bust balls about it.
I'm a ball buster.
Are you?
No, I do appreciate it. I'm just messing around.
No, I know.
But it looks cool.
This is another one that when it comes to consoles, I'm sure we'll be playing hell of. Right now, I'm not going to go buy another 3 wired Xbox controllers to play. There's plenty of other console games we can play out there for multiplayer Mondays and stuff.
Absolutely.
But I'm interested in it. Now that I'm talking about Toto Temple Deluxe, let's talk about Move or Die.
Move or Die.
If you were looking at just the graphics on the cards I'm holding up here on the thing, if you're listening to MP3, sorry, but they look a lot alike. You got characters who are, the primary colors, it's cutesy, whatever. Move or Die is interesting because, again, 4-player crazy ass co-op fun or whatever, or competitive fun while you run around. But imagine it's that, and instead of just being carry the goat over your head, it's like WarioWare, where every one of the games is different. So one, you'd be carrying the goat or whatever. One, you're not really carrying the goat, but just for the other, you're running and like all of the tiles are opaque, and you hit them, and if you're the last person to touch them, it's your color. So by the end of time, you have to have the one with the most colors, and then the next one, and so on and so. There's all these different mini games that you choose how many you want to play, and then you get a winner based on that. You run through and do it. Another game that I'm like, oh yeah, that's multiplayer Monday. Yeah. That sounds awesome.
We're gonna kill it.
We're gonna kill that one. I want to be a part of that.
We're gonna move. We're not gonna die.
Now here's one that I'll save him for last. All right, save him for last, Colin. Other one I wanted to talk about: 12 minutes. Yeah, I talked about this on our panel. If you listen to the Game Over Greggy show panel at PAX East, 12 minutes is being done by this guy, Luis Antonio. Or maybe Luis. I'm not gonna fall for this like I did with.
I know, but
with Luis.
But I mean, I understand what you're saying. But when I see Luis, I automatically go to Luis unless otherwise corrected.
Yeah. Luis Menchacha.
Yeah, but that was really that's a rarity. Right, I don't know if I've ever actually seen that.
If you're listening to this MP3 on the Friday that it goes live for free, Luis might be actually on our Twitch channel right now. So come over and look at it because I invited him over just to play the game with me. So we're gonna do that. 12 minutes is interesting because it's like Groundhog Day with murder. So you play the same 12 minutes over and over again trying to stop the outcome. So every time you play it, you learn something new about what's going to happen. But like it was described a little bit poorly. But the idea, the gist is you come home or your wife's there cooking dinner, then some cops come and they kill you or knock you out or whatever. So you have to start trying maybe this next time I won't answer the door, or I'll try to find a weapon, or I'll try to all these different ways. So every time you wake up, you try to figure out how to undo it. Because as soon as you get knocked out and everybody's dead or whatever, then you wake back up in the same place with your wife cooking dinner and the cop about to come in a little bit. So you have to sit there and replay this one level, this one map, try to figure out how you're going to do this. And I believe on the Giant Bomb panel, I met Luis, got his card, told him I'm totally infatuated with this game and he needs to come on our thing because he works here in San Francisco and he's going to. But a Giant Bomb was saying that when they talked about it, he said 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours of gameplay or something to figure out how the hell not to get killed in 12 minutes. That sounds rad. That's a totally awesome idea that I want to be a part of.
That's really cool.
All right. And then this War of Mine. This is another one. All right, this I walked by. You were doing it. It's like a point-and-click adventure game, right? But you're trying to figure out should you steal? It seems like you're in this war-torn country. Do you steal supplies from these people? What's going to happen over here? It's this really interesting idea that I guess has been reviewed by a few outlets because it's already up here. It's here you go. IGN gave it an 8.4. GT gave it an 8.5. 8 from GameSpot. I had never heard of this game. Not gonna lie to you. It seems awesome. It seems like one of these cool indie games. Now, speaking of all these cool indie games, this is where we get back to the GDC thing, where I went. And I'll tell you what, guys. I like to think I know a lot about this video game industry. Tim, do I know a lot about this video game industry?
You're one of the coolest dudes in it.
I try to keep up with everything. When I went to the Independent Games Festival Awards, hosted by Nathan from Cappy, only one of these games had I ever heard of beforehand, which was crazy. Now, granted, Independent Game Awards, they're submitting their games. They're not submitting Hotline Miami. They're submitting a bunch of different things. So games that I want to call out here that I won a bunch of things. 80 Days. I never heard of this. I know that probably makes me stupid. It looks like it's really popular on iPhones and tablets or whatever. Seems interesting.
We don't play iPhone and tablet games.
I know, but
so it's okay.
Okay, good. Okay, text adventure kind of game, going through this thing of I think it's getting around the world in 80 days and making your choices and do it. Sounds awesome. I want to play that. This War of Mine was all over the nominations. Won a bunch of stuff. Tim, a game you and I have to let's play is called How Do You Do It?
I like it.
What do you think How Do You Do It is?
Sex game.
It's a game where you Google things and YouTube.
It's a sex game where we sit there with action figures and try to figure out how they do it.
Oh, wait, I saw this.
Yeah.
This is on Reddit last week.
Okay, that probably sprung to.
Have you seen the art style of it and stuff? It's
like
really,
pop art and stuff.
Yeah, it's creepy and weird, and I love it. Where you take Barbies and you have to mash them together.
Yeah, we got to play that together. That's got to be a good
The way it was written gives it away to me why it's about sex. Because it's all lowercase and then do it is in capitals.
Right.
Next I don't know why I just told
Next one that has one of my copious notes, which is an arrow saying I need to do something with it. Apartment. But what do you call it? Just a dot?
I guess, yeah.
A.part.men. What's interesting about this is it's like a deconstruction of a failed relationship by looking around this apartment.
Oh my god!
Seeing things like, oh,
awesome.
that's her brush, and oh my god, I was like, yeah, we totally have to play that. But this is something we need to figure out. Is I don't think that works as a Twitch stream because I don't want to have to monitor the chat, and I don't know if it works as a Let's Play because I don't want to sit there and try to entertain.
Forever.
I just want to play it. I don't know how to do that.
I don't like the set. So here's what I'm gonna say about this. It should be a part.mint, not a.part.mint. Yeah,
I think what they're saying is though that it's a part of the couple. I don't know the.
I thought it was more like a part.
That's good too. I guess we'll have to play to find out the real end of the story. But I took it as this is a part of their relationship. This cup is a part of their relationship. And those are the big ones. These are the winners. Again, I was like, close your. All right, great. Tetrageddon Games. What the hell? There's a bunch of weird ass shit happening over there. Outer Wilds.
Rooftop Cop.
Yeah,
Rooftop Cop.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Nick Scarpino game.
Yeah. 3/4 Home looks like it's got a mark there. I think it's pretty much just a side scroller where you're in a car having a conversation. I'm like, yeah, that looks like something I want to play as well.
God, video games, man. These
Video games
days
are awesome.
I just love how now it's like, what's the most random specific thing we can do? Let's make a game about it.
Yeah. So those were my standouts.
That's great.
Sorry to take up so much time in the front, but I had all of these
There's a lot of cool stuff to do. I played a game with Nick called Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, and it was awesome. It's a co-op game where you're in this spaceship, and you get to choose these, like, Muppet Baby-looking, like, Sanrio-style characters.
Yeah.
And so you each are them, and you're lovers in the spaceship, and you need to go save your other lovers that are, like, captured for some reason in space. And the ship is it's a circle, and on the outside there's a bunch of different turrets and stuff. And inside, there's the turret controls. And like there'll be at like the top level, and there's ladders and stuff. It controls kind of like a platformer, but you can only at any point do 2 of the different things. So like one of the turrets activates a shield. One of them activates like a giant gun. One activates like more like a machine gun thing, and you can aim it and stuff. So, but you can only do 2 of them at any point. So it's like a super like teamwork thing where it's like, hey, go up there and do this. Go up to the map, figure out where we're going. Like, oh, push the thrusters. Like, because you can't be moving. If one person's moving, that means the other person has to run back and forth between shield and shooting and all that stuff. And it's really, really cool. And there's a lot of hearts and a lot of explosions, and like there's boss fights where you fight a giant bear.
Nice.
And it was fun. Like, it was a lot of fun. Like, we're definitely gonna do some Let's Plays on that guy.
Nice.
What are you calling?
I didn't see much at PAX that we hadn't already seen, but I didn't spend much time on the floor really looking around because we were doing other stuff. But I just want to give another shout out to our boys at Drinkbox and their game Severed, because I think that game's looking real, real good. I went out to dinner with them and talked to them a lot about it, and they're excited about it. I think they're interested to see what people think of it. But it's a Vita exclusive for now, and coming first to Vita for sure. And it's a first person, very old kind of style dungeon crawler, first person dungeon crawler, which you don't see much of anymore. Because now we get a lot of roguelikes and isometric games. So seeing a game that looks like Shadowgate basically is really weird and cool. And I give them a lot of credit for doing something different, because they could just do Guacamelee 2. And they basically have confirmed that they're going to do Guacamelee 2, but it's cool that they just jump from thing to thing to thing.
They confirmed that on our show.
But in a more overarching way, what was exciting about PAX East specifically, and GDC to an extent too, was at least the way we covered GDC was just the continued rise of independent games and smaller games. There was virtually no AAA games there at all, with the exception of some stuff from Microsoft and I think Capcom. I basically think that was it. It was dominated by independent and smaller games, and I thought that was really cool. This is the future, like it or not.
Yep.
So,
but there's so many great ideas happening. Yeah. All of these games that I was checking my phone because I don't know if you had a chance to see it. I went back by the Adventures of Pip.
Yeah, we saw that at PSX.
This was a new level. This was like a new advanced level, because I've been seeing since, I guess not even PSX, but since the first time I saw it at PAX Prime, I guess, tucked away off the show floor. I've been seeing the same level, go from being 1 pixel to being a 16-bit guy and like do the different moves. This was like, now the platforming was way more intense. There was different obstructions. You had to jump and change and do all these different things. It was like, oh, fucking, that's rad. You know what I mean? Like, I hadn't seen like,
oh, fucking, that's rad.
Oh, fucking, that's rad. Yeah. I hadn't seen that in a while.
Fucking
and then another one I liked was Dead Pixels 2. Yeah, I don't know if you saw this. It's basically, remember how we were trying to play Scott Pilgrim the other day? Whatever happened to side-scrolling beat-em-ups or whatever, right? Like, this is a side-scrolling beat-em-up with guns and stuff where you're fighting zombies and stuff and having fun in a zombie apocalypse that looks like it's a 16-bit game. Mm-hmm. Totally cool.
I love that. I got to play Amplitude for a bit, and my God, I love that game.
My God.
Hold on 1 second.
Where are you going? What's happening? Oh, you got it on delivery now. Look at you. Yeah. Forgot your drink. Forgot your pure Coke.
Now I'm back. Now we can start the show for reals. But no, so Amplitude's one of my favorite games of all time on the PlayStation 2. And this is the second time I got to play the new one on PS4. And my God, it's just more Amplitude. And that makes me so happy because it's like they really nailed the engine. I mean, I think it's just built on the same engine. So it's like, it feels right and all that. I was a little worried about the PS4 controller not being as responsive as the PS2 because that game's very shoulder button heavy.
Yeah.
And the fact that now that there's triggers instead of buttons, the R2 is a little weird and did take a little getting used to, but it works and I liked it a lot. And the music's great and it's all original music in this one. The first one had a bunch of licensed songs. I'm gonna miss POD and all that, but the original Amplitude did have a lot of Harmonix exclusive music in it, and so now all this, it's crazy to hear because it's like it just sounds like I'm back in 2008 or whatever the fuck that game came out, and I liked it a lot. I'm very excited for it.
Fable 2 was before that, wasn't
Yeah, it was PlayStation 2.
It was PlayStation 2, yeah.
Damn.
Looking like 2002, 3.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't even know. Yeah, it must have been because POD was a thing.
Yeah.
We are,
They're probably still around. I don't know. I haven't watched the POD in a long time.
Youth of a nation. No, that was, back to what Colin's point was, like, yeah, it was super exciting to walk the show floor, and not to knock him or anything, but I kind of ignored all the big the big games, the big stuff. Like Guild Wars obviously isn't my thing, I don't have to worry about this, but like going into the indie mega booth and then immediately seeing like 3 or 4 games, like holy shit, that looks awesome! Like waiting line to play that or walk the floor and run in just all these other different games. See where things are and where they're coming and continue, I guess, to see the walls of what indie games are break down, right? Like, that's the big thing is like, it's very akin to when we used to call it was pretty good for a downloadable game. Now it's like, no, the indie games are, below. That's what I'm interested in. I want to go see below. Oh, Severed. That's what it's all about for me right now in the Vita,
Yeah.
Yeah, downloadable. Yeah, it's funny. Like, everything's a downloadable game now. The cool thing to me is just that, people often talk about this kind of iron grip that AAA publishers and big annualized games have on the industry. And I think that these companies are important and they make good games from time to time, but their iron grip is crumbling before our very eyes, and like you can see it. And for all those people that complain about games that don't work and games that are loaded with DLC and games that cost $60 and you don't want to necessarily pay $60 for a game, well, then support these guys, because these guys are making new games by themselves, putting them wherever they want to put them, and finding partners that make sense for them. Yeah. And they have new ideas. The new ideas are in that space. The new ideas are certainly not in the AAA space. They're nowhere to be found in the AAA space, in fact. So, like, and that's just the nature of the like, really think about the AAA space and tell me of a new idea. Tell me about a game that's doing something different.
Batman has a Batmobile.
You know what I mean? It's like something's an open world game. So Uncharted 4 is just going. I can't wait for it, but it's going to be Uncharted.
Right.
They're about to release a Call of Duty or a Battlefield game rather that is a crime simulator that seems to be somewhat inspired by an indie game called Payday. Yeah. Like they're going to annualize Assassin's Creed and put it in a different place. They're going to release, Bloodborne, which is just Dark Souls. And I'm not saying that these games are necessarily going to be bad. I'm just saying these aren't new ideas. Gears, Quantum Break, in the Xbox side, like these,
They're not taking 2 action figures and trying to have sex.
No, exactly. And I'm not saying that is a better, I'm not saying taking 2 action figures and making them have sex is better than a shooter.
It is.
I'm saying that, for all of these AAA games and in the space just saturated with annualization, and I think a lot of tiredness over the way these games are the games that are exciting,
Yeah.
Support them. I really encourage people out there to support them. That aforementioned iron grip is loosening. And small games are proliferating. And just because a game is small in the way it was made or the studio doesn't mean it's not going to be huge. Think about Rainbow Moon. That's a 100-hour RPG made by a few people. Helldivers is a small game from a small studio called Arrowhead. So. Just more generally, not about specifics, but more generally, it's a very exciting time. Mm-hmm. That said, I think that, PAX East was fun. I think that we are officially a critical mass for these kinds of shows, and I'll be interested to see.
Like PAX South was your first clue of that.
Yeah, and I think even PSX is an indication too. And I think that I'll be more interested generally to see what happens with these shows over the next few years, because I don't think PAX is going anywhere. But like with Rooster Teeth and Screw Attack and all that, it's like there's way too many. One of these shows has to buckle. Something has to give. Simply because all these studios cannot afford to go to all these shows. Sure. People can afford to go to them. People in Texas aren't going to get access to PAX East, and people in Los Angeles are going to have to go to San Diego Comic-Con or to if they can't get into E3 and things like this nature. It's just like what makes sense for the game developers.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Well, I think a lot of the conventions aren't necessarily about game developers. Like for example,
RTX for sure, isn't it?
Yeah, RTX. I mean, they do have obviously Bungie and 343 and all that stuff, but when it comes to like PAX and all this stuff, like it was cool to see. You were talking about exciting things, like to see League of Legends playing on those giant screens and have so many people in front of it, like freaking the fuck out. Riot wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I think that's crazy. And it's like, esports aren't necessarily our thing, but obviously they're the things for everyone else. And like, it's just crazy to see the excitement. And it's still exciting. Like, even though I don't care, like I do care that other people care.
Yeah.
And there was like certain moments where we'd walk by and people are going crazy over just this League game being played and people shoutcasting and doing all this stuff. And it's like, I think there's a power to that. And PAX has its community. And we saw that more than anything at our panel and our meet and greets and all that stuff. Like, PAX is about the fans. And I feel like the developers use it as a way to show the fans their games. But I don't think that it's as big of a deal which developers are there at PAX. I think we see that with the AAA guys that are there. They're not really showing anything. And it's like, even when we were at IGN covering the stuff, we wouldn't really care too much about checking out Capcom because it's like, we know what they're doing. Like, we're fine there. It is about finding the indie games at these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.